Yo. Windows down, it's Friday. Rudy Campos Jr., Derek Gervin, the sports answer. Let's ride. It's the Friday drive home, San Antonio flow. Rudy and Derek live on YouTube. Here we go, streaming online, podcast wherever you roam. NBA, NFL, Spurs, and hot takes. We on the zone. Powered by Salem, surround San Antonio.
All right, welcome to the Friday Drive. It's Rudy Campos Jr. alongside Derek Gervin, UTSA Hall of Famer. Derek Gervin, the Friday Drive, Answer Now TV. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It's Answer Now TV. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the Friday Night Drive or the Thursday Night Delight, but you'll know when we go live if you hit that notification button. Shout out to Navarro Roofing, family owned and operated since 1968, 210-680-5070. They work with insurances. They are the #1 roofing company around. Contact them today. Tell them the Sports Answer sent you. And also shout out to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Digital marketing needs. You want to get your ads up there. You want to make sure your company is branded well and taken care of. That's what Salem Surround comes in. And you know what? We are in the Salem Surround studios here at the Answer Now TV. This is the Sports Answer Friday Night Drive. Derek, we have a lot of NBA, a little bit of NFL to talk about. But we got to get, one thing out of the way first. But before we get into that, are you ready for the weekend?
Yes, ready to go. It's a nice. We got a little rain today, about a tenth of an inch of rain.
The clouds spit on San Antonio today. Basically, is what it was.
So it's a good start to the weekend.
One thing that we've got to mention, and the start that we're going to have to the show is the NBA world, and the sports world in general. Let's be honest. You see, Don Nelson passed away recently, and he was at the age of 86. Talking about he won 5 rings as a player with the Boston Celtics, 3-time NBA Coach of the Year, Hall of Fame, second winningest coach in NBA history, the original innovator of positionless basketball. I remember Don Nelson more, when I was growing up for the Golden State days, Run TMC, and I respected Nelly as a coach. He was one of the guys I looked up to when I started coaching. Tried to study his coaching philosophies. Just an overall great guy. One of the good guys in the NBA. Had the pleasure of meeting him when they would have the All-Star game here in San Antonio, and then they had the high school world team or American team versus the world team back in the day over at UTSA Convocation Center. They had that, and Nelson was there. Had the honor to meet him, shake his hand. Gave him a comment. He actually autographed the basketball that I had. But, the memory of Don Nelson, passed away at the age of 86. Memories for you when it comes to Nelly?
Wow. First of all, I want to say rest in peace. Man, I still have friends that I talk to on Facebook today. Mm-hmm. And a few of them played for Don Nelson. The Terry Cummings, you got Alvin Robertson, guys, Jerry Ice Reynolds. Yeah, not George Ice Gervin. I got a young guy. Jerry Ice Reynolds out of LSU. And so it kind of just took me back. It made me very sad, first of all. Don Nelson, we're talking about an innovative coach. One of the most innovative coaches in all of sports.
Yeah.
All of sports history. The guy who started basically what we're looking at today, positionless game. Had Manute Bol on his team, who I became friends with when I played with the Nets. Rest in peace, Manute. Had Manute Bol, 7'5", about 200 pounds max, out there shooting three-pointers.
Yeah.
And Don knew that no one would go out there and guard him, so he basically became an analytical guy before we got involved in what they call analytics today, right?
Yeah.
But a great person. You don't hear players saying things negative about Don Nelson, and I'm going to tell you how impactful he is. I watched the interview, I believe, the day after his passing, yesterday, I believe, Greg Popovich. They did an interview with Pop. And to even get Pop to come around and to speak publicly right now says a lot about what kind of man Don Nelson was. Who did Pop pass up for the all-time record?
His protege.
Don Nelson, yeah. So you develop relationships. And this is bigger than basketball. When you start talking about legacy, Don will always be remembered as a guy who was very innovative in basketball, but he wasn't a guy who was afraid to be himself. And to even come out with the style of play that he started, he'll always be remembered. And I want to say, Don Nelson, I want to thank you. And not even just for your coaching. I know a lot of young people don't know he was actually a really good basketball player as well when he played with the Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
So I watched him over the years. He will definitely be missed. It was a sad day for me. I'm still sad about it, but I have to say, rest in peace, Don Nelson, and thank you for all the things that you've done.
You know, Pop was at Nellie's, I don't know if it was funeral or just remembrance memorial, it was. And he did talk about, you know, the impact that Nellie had on him as a coach. Obviously, Pop was an assistant coach under Don Nelson, and he brought up a story. And, man, this was a hot topic last night on the live show that we did on Spurs in Focus, which you can catch on Answer Now TV as well. Pop brought up the story of where he recruited, or he went to go look and scout one Sharunas Marciulionis.
Yeah.
And he was so close to bringing Marciulionis to San Antonio until Don Nelson was able to get a hold of him, and he ended up going to Golden State. Now, I was asked and put on under the hot seat and said, hey, if Pop succeeded and beat Nelly out and got Sarunas, Spurs got to win a couple of titles, right? I said, I don't know, man. You're talking Dave, Sean Elliott, and Sarunas. That's a pretty good trio. But at that time, you know, you still had a lot of teams that were pretty loaded at the time. But how much of a difference would Marciulionis have really made in San Antonio? He averaged 21 points in one playoff series. I mean, he had to take a back seat to three guys in Golden State. So if he's a third option, maybe second option in San Antonio, you would think he'd probably be a pretty good player.
Yeah, we had this other guy here that was similar by the name of Manu Ginobili. I know a lot of Spurs fans might have forgotten about him. You know I'm being sarcastic.
Oh, I know.
But Sharunas was a similar player. When we talk about the Euro step, right? Just a strong guy. You should look at his calves. Then you could tell the man was in shape, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been interesting to see him with the Spurs. If we would have had him with the Spurs, would there have ever been two players that were that similar? Not Kobe and Mike. I know some people say they were similar, but to me there were a lot of differences as well.
No.
But with Sharunas and Manu, even their offensive style.
You know, Sarunas only has the advantage on strength. He was I think he's stronger than Manu. But, I mean, when it came to getting to the basket, getting down court, going downhill, they both played the same. They could both get to the basket. They were crafty with the basketball. They were both left-handed, if we remember on that. They can both knock down the three. They can both knock down the jumper, the mid-range jumper. They were both, you know, pesky defenders. So outside of Sarunas being stronger than Manu, you've got the exact same player.
Bino Udras and Goran Dragic just saying, hey, don't forget about us.
We're bringing up old players, man. We can't be bringing up old players right now because we've got to save that for later in the show. But, yeah, we wanted to give a shout-out to Don Nelson. I mean, definitely a coach that I loved watching back in the day. Definitely studied his game a whole lot when it came to coaching strategies. You can see Pop. You know, obviously Pop was one of his students of the game, and you know, Don Nelson's going to be missed definitely in the NBA. So really, you know, really sad day for the league. And, you know, before we move on to our next one, got to give us a couple of comments that we have in here, Derek. And let's see, Don Nelson was a good man and a great coach. John was saying that. Nelson, also the first coach not to pander to the egos of his stars. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, very much so. I agree with that fully on that. We got some Spurs cheeseman going on. What's the cheeseman, Derek? The cheeseman is going to be pretty easy. Spurs schedule came out. I wonder if you're going to be shocked at my first 20-game prediction that I gave last night. I'm going to give it on the air here, but it's cheeseman time.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta. Pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Nine, por favor.
All right, that's the Cheesemate Girl. You know, speaking of Cheesemate Girl, we may have the Cheesemate Girl do some more audio for us pretty soon here.
Let's
She's pretty
go.
popular.
Let's go.
Pretty popular. If we have enough money in the budget, we may be able to get her a seat at the table too. So we'll see what we can do. If not the Cheesemate Girl, we got another San Antonio native that may want to join. So that'll be later on. But what the Spurs fans are actually all hyped up about, and I know it's really, really small, so I apologize. I couldn't get the absolute best schedule out there for everybody. But the Spurs, you know, they had their release schedule, and, you know, they're opening up. Obviously, we talked about their opening night's going to be against OKC. It's going to be against the Thunder, the rematch of the Western Conference Finals. They're not going to see the Knicks until Christmas Day. So everybody's hyped about it. They say, oh, why can't we do you don't want to do the Knicks and Spurs on opening night. No. Knicks are going to face off against the 76ers. So LeBron's going to have to witness, you know, Jalen Brunson and Kat get their rings. And, you know, he's going to be a little mad. He's going to get the powder and put it on his hands and do all of what he does and all that great stuff. He doesn't mean he's going to get another ring, but he's going to watch them while the Spurs and Thunder battle. Before I get into any of the Spurs talk, I was thrown for a curveball, Derek. Never on opening day of NBA basketball have I ever seen the very first game of the NBA season tip off at 2 o'clock. Your Detroit Pistons, and I can't remember who else, are tipping off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Never have I ever heard that, ever.
First game of the season.
First game of the season, we're going to be working. I mean, we're going to be at our jobs. Golly, I couldn't believe that, man. I don't know. Have you?
I'm really I'm kind of offended by that, though.
Why's that?
Because you just said people are going to be at work, right?
Yeah.
So what are they saying when you don't? Why are our Pistons playing? Why couldn't that wait till after people got off work? I don't like them going into the new season disrespecting my Detroit Pistons.
Well, they're going to come out with a victory. I guarantee that.
Yeah, but 2 p.m. How many people are going to be aware of it? we got Cade Cunningham grade going to his MVP year. We don't want to be starting off at 2 p.m. We want to be starting off at 7 p.m.
Well, okay, so you're saying that the 2 o'clock game is a no-go. So Adam Silver, you're going to write him, you're going to text him and say, hey, it's a no-go, no more. Don't do any more 2 o'clock games. After that, you got Sixers and Knicks, then you got Spurs and Oklahoma. So the Spurs' first 20 games roughly, and then might be 21, but we're going to go all the way to the Lakers, which is going to be the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Those first 20 or so games, Derek, technically only 2 of them are against teams that are like very viable contenders from last year. They opened the night with Oklahoma City. Then they run into Detroit at home at the Frost Bank in November. Outside of that, you know, you're talking playoff teams like Houston, Minnesota. You've got, you know, the Lakers in there. Phoenix was a play-in team. I mean, you know, they're a playoff team. They've got players there, teams there, but they've only got 2 real contenders to start the season, which made me think, okay, are we in for another fast start? Or are we going to see a hiccup somewhere in these first 20 games?
Well, let me see. So you named OKC and you named Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those 2 teams. But after that, I also heard you mention the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, right?
Yeah.
So going into this new year, I think on paper, these teams might not be up to par for some people. But we know how this game goes. We don't even know how the Spurs are going to start off from the beginning with the chemistry. First of all,
yeah,
they still have questions about the Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox situation. There's a lot of questions. Is Victor going to come back a little stronger, a little smarter? Is Castle going to come back a better ball handler? How is Tobias going to fit in with the chemistry? So ordinarily, if you go by the team they had this past year, I could see them getting off to a 16-4, 17-3 start.
You hit mine. You hit mine.
Yeah, but right now they're a question mark, just like any other team in the NBA.
So I hit it at 17-3. And the losses that I gave them a loss at Utah when they first see Utah at Utah, which would be the 27th or the 28th. I gave them a loss against Portland in one of the Portland games because I think Portland, is still going to be really good this year. I think Portland would have been better had Thiago stayed the head coach, but nonetheless, they still got a very strong team in Portland. And I got them losing to the Lakers on Black Friday. So that was my 3 losses for them, 17-3. Do you want me to go through some of the games for you? Do you want to call out win or loss for them?
Yeah, we'll do that quickly.
Yeah. So opening night, I had them winning opening night. What do you think about OKC and the Spurs opening night?
Where are they playing?
They're playing Frost Bank. They're playing in town.
Game 1.
Game 1.
Wow. OKC, after losing last year, this is going to... Hey, we just may having fun here, so don't get upset. I'm going off the way OKC finished last year with Williams being out and A.J. Mitchell being out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that the Spurs are not going to be as motivated as OKC is in the first game to get off to a good start. So I'm going to go OKC.
Okay. And then you got Houston, Dallas, Sacramento, the next 3.
Oh, boy. The Houston, I go Spurs. The Dallas game, that's going to be interesting to see what Cooper is looking like.
Yeah.
I go Spurs. I got those next 3 games. I say Spurs, but the first one I say they lose to OKC. So we looking at 3-1.
3-1 for you right now. Now I'll give you the next 3. At Utah, at home against Minnesota, at home against Utah.
I say, man, I'm gonna say they win both games against Utah.
Okay.
The Minnesota game is a toss up for me. Are they playing in Minnesota?
No, it'd be at Frost Bank.
And for Frost Bank again, I'm gonna get the Spurs this one. So I'm gonna say right now we're looking at the Spurs losing 2 of those games.
Yeah. No, you've got them at 6-1 right now after 7 games.
No, because they're gonna lose the middle game. You say they played Minnesota, right? They got Utah,
Minnesota, Utah.
So I'm saying they're gonna lose the Minnesota.
Okay, so
they're
you got
lose
Minnesota
in between game.
Okay, so then now you got 5-2. Then you come up with Dallas, Sacramento, Portland, Phoenix.
Oh boy, Dallas, Sacramento, Portland, Philly.
See, I'm terrible because I'm like these teams are.
I say they lose. I say they lose one of those games. Which one? It's not going to be the Phoenix game, but I say they blow one of those games.
I would think the Portland game because they're not going to go to Sacramento and lose to Sacramento.
Man, that splitter not bringing him back. That's tough.
That's horrible.
I don't understand that move, but they know more than we do. So right
Do
now,
they?
yeah. Well, I guess
they
they.
do.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt right now. And the reason here, this is what's disappointing me with Portland.
Yeah.
I had one guy on their team in the back court that I thought was going to be a star. And he's been a disappointment. He had one good game in the playoffs this past season against the Spurs.
Yep.
I think he had 35 or something. But Scoot's been a disappointment to me.
Yeah.
So
when he had 35, everybody online was like, "Oh, Scoot Henderson's back. Scoot Henderson, he's going to be the Spurs." It's one game. I guarantee he comes back and doesn't even get to double digits. And sure enough, he didn't get to double digits next game. I mean, come on, it's easy to tell. You have them beating Dallas though in this 4-game stretch, right?
Yeah,
it is at the Frost Bank.
I'm gonna say they beat Dallas. Man,
Okay.
wait. Now here's the thing with Dallas. AD's gone.
Yeah.
So, but you still have Lively and Gafford.
Yeah.
Kyrie's coming back.
Kyrie will be back. You got Cooper Flag.
So I'm gonna go Spurs, but that's a question mark game for me because we have to see how Cooper and Kyrie are gonna mesh.
Okay.
But I'll give Spurs that one. Maybe we talk later in the season. I might reverse it.
We have every right to switch our picks when the season starts. That's a guarantee for us here. Then you got Chicago, Golden State. I'm going to stop at the 2 games there because I have a question on Golden State. But Chicago and then Golden State.
Man, I like Chicago. I still think Buzelis is becoming a star.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go Spurs in that game. Now, the Golden State. Oh, man. What moves did they really make? What upgrades, if you really look at their roster?
They re-signed Steve Kerr. They gave Draymond Green the Brinks truck for no reason. I mean, there's really nothing there. And that's the reason why I'm asking you, because Oh, go ahead and pick first, and then I'm going to ask
I'm
you
gonna
the
pick the
question.
Spurs because I don't see it. Just look like right now on paper, it's just that Golden State has just gotten a year older. I haven't seen any major upgrades.
So then here's the question, the Golden State question, the golden ticket question here. Does Steph Curry finish the season as a Warrior?
I say yes without question, and the reason I say that is certain guys. You look at the Dirk Nowitzki's,
Yeah.
the Tim Duncans. There's certain guys that just don't change organizations. And of course, I said that about Michael Jordan as well. But Steph being the guy who has basically created the game that we're looking at today,
Yeah.
I don't think Golden State, even if he has to be traded, that'll be something they'd have to really go over and rehash. But I say he finishes in Golden State, yes.
I don't think he ever came out and said he wanted to be traded. But if you look at, so you and I always talk and we say, you know what, we got to put our GM hat on. We got to look at the business side of things. Now, if Golden State gets off to a horrific start, and I mean, they're going to be lottery bound, they're not going to win any games, Steph doesn't want to be traded, but you don't want to go down the Mike Trout route. And you want to have that conversation like Steph. You probably have 2 good years left. This year, maybe next year. We need to move you. You know, if you're fine with it, and not only that, you're getting maybe a couple of picks in return, maybe a young kid coming in. So do you have that conversation with him? I know he may not want to go, but Steph's a smart man too, to know, you know what, you've helped me here in Golden State. We've won in Golden State. Does he do the right thing and say, okay, I understand?
But you notice out of that conversation you just was talking about Steph that you never mentioned like the right fit, like going to a team at this point in his career, right? He only has
Spurs are rumored.
He has 2 or 3 years maximum, I say, left in his career. There are not a lot of guys that has a career that Steph Curry, the legacy he's created already, that would go to another team. And the reason I say Steph's situation is different because he's been innovative in this game, right?
Yeah.
There's no guarantee he's going to get the same opportunities with another team that he would get with Golden State. Golden State is built around who?
It's around Steph.
Okay, so he's going somewhere else. There's no guarantee he's going to finish his career out the way he wants. At least in Golden State, he's developed that legacy. Every fan in Golden State is a Steph Curry fan. So if nothing else, he's cemented his legacy in a very big way. And I just don't think at this point in his life he would even think about uprooting. You got to think about all the good and the bad. Even if he never wins another championship, right? There are some people that still say that they have Steph ranked over LeBron James. Is that true?
I could see that.
But you've heard it.
Yeah.
So his legacy is cemented either way. I think it would be better for him. I think it would be more fulfilling for him to stay there and to win a championship as opposed to what LeBron just did this year and what Giannis just did this year.
So, again, you know, one of the teams, there's 2 teams in question. One of them is Miami, which they don't have the assets in Miami to pull off a Steph Curry. They would need a third team. Another team that's been mentioned that has the assets is the local team, San Antonio. And that is the Aaron Fox, who gives them the point guard. They have a ton of draft picks, but they also have a player like a Devin Vassell or a Keldon Johnson that they can move to make the money work. But what this does is, if it was to happen, then you're talking Steph Curry for 2 years where you don't have that worrisome of, will Dylan Harper start later on? De'Aaron Fox is under contract for 5 years. How is this going to work? You kind of kill that whole talk by doing that. But that is a rumored thing going around. The Spurs have technically said that they're watching the Steph Curry situation in case Golden State does make it known that he's available. I mean, it's a fit.
Only time Steph will be coming here to be a Spur is to go on to TPC or one of those places to go out and hit some golf balls. Now he would be interested in that. Other than that, I know he would love to play with Wemby, but I just don't see. I think he's Golden State.
I know. I know
in
this.
Oakland or San Francisco.
I thought I'd never have anybody higher than Rick Barry, but
If you go
Steph.
anywhere in the world, now I gotta say this. That's one thing about him and LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in the world knows who Steph Curry is.
Yeah.
And I just think at this point in his career, he's done so much. He's ingrained in Oakland and San Francisco lore.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he would even want to uproot his family. I don't think his family. I just think he's secure in Golden State. He knew coming in, you're not going to always win every year. But to go out on his own terms, and I think going out on his own terms would be to, when he goes in Hall of Fame, to be able to have Clay up there on the stage, Draymond Green, and Bob Myers, of course Kerr, but Bob Myers. And I think that's what's more important to him at this point. He's got 4 championships. Even without another ring, it won't hurt him as much as it would hurt LeBron James.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me everything that I do want to hear on it, and I only bring up, the Steph talk because it's being plastered everywhere, and he's never mentioned that he wants to leave Golden State. I think they've never really said, "Oh, we're going to move Steph Curry," but I think everybody that knows basketball and has ears into the basketball offices can all see that. Hey, if the possibility is there, you think one?
Just go by one thing, sir.
Okay.
Draymond Green,
Okay.
where is he?
Golden State.
Do you think Draymond Green would have signed any contract to go back to Golden State at this point in his career if he didn't know that his sidekick was still going to be there?
No.
I'm telling you, just when Draymond still in Golden State, that tells me Steph Curry's going to be in Golden State.
There you go. There you go. That's why we bring it up. That's why we talk about the subjects, those sports questions. We got the sports answers. Couple more games, dear Derek. Then they play Utah like 50 times this year. They go against Utah, Detroit, and then the Clippers.
Utah, Detroit, and the Clippers. Man, so I've given Utah one of those games because I said they were going to split when they played between the Minnesota, Utah.
Yeah.
So I gave them one of those. So I'm not going to give them another one. So I got the Spurs, and then I heard my Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, you did.
Now that's in Detroit this time, right?
This would be in San Antonio.
Well, hopefully the fans behave better. We don't have any parking lot incidents this time. But yeah. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give that game to the San Antonio Spurs. I think they're going to be a really good home team this year. So I'm going to give them that game.
Do you think they go undefeated at home?
Boston went 40-1. We're not going to see that happen again. Not even close.
Yeah, I don't think so. And then you got the Clippers and Pelicans.
Oh, boy. Is Kawhi Leonard still going to be a Clipper? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I'm taking the Spurs, and I'm taking them with the Pelicans. So, yeah, I got the Spurs winning both of those games.
And now the last 3 games, you got the Kings, the Portland Trail Blazers, and then you ended with the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers game's at home at Frostbank.
Now, those games, 3 games within a 5-day period.
The 23rd, 25th, 27th.
Yeah,
so
3 games, like a 5-day period. So I say the Spurs lose one of those games, and for me, it would be the last game of the road of the trip.
Portland?
Yeah.
Oh, so you have them beating the Lakers.
Yeah, and the reason I say that, because if we remember, even in the playoffs, right? Avdia or whatever his name is.
Avdia.
The Spurs had to make some adjustments. So it wasn't like that Portland was just a fluke team.
Yeah.
And I think they match up. We talk about styles. And I told you last year, and I have to say this, and people don't get upset with me. You and I had a conversation about the Spurs and Portland playoffs, right?
Yeah, we did.
I told you if the Spurs lost how many games that I said this, then the Spurs are not going to win the championship.
1.
Okay.
They lost 1.
I told you if they lost 1 game in that series,
Yeah.
I couldn't see them completing the task at the end of the year. I did
enough.
tell you that.
Yeah, you did. I need to record these things so we can play them on air. Because, yeah, you did tell me that. I remember that completely. So you got them losing, 4 games? So, 16-4?
16-4.
I had them 17-3. You have them 16-4. That's still a really good start to the season. People are saying OKC they have the easiest schedule and they're going to, go back to winning this. You still got to play the games, man. I think the teams are a lot better this year. There's no more tanking rule. I mean, there's no more tanking because the tanking rules come out. So you can't just go out and lose games on purpose now because now if you have the worst record, you also get the worst opportunities to get number one.
Before we move on, can I say one quick thing about OKC?
Yeah.
They have a target on their back this year, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the dynasty or whatever. There's one guy that pretty much, I won't say was fully exposed, right? But Shea got kind of exposed.
Yeah.
He has some good games, right? But here's the thing now. When I say now he's got that target on him, that bullseye, now the refs are going to be looking more and more. Well, the NBA still has to instruct them to call it.
Yeah.
But the push off and things like that. Because once you don't win that 1 year, it just seems like your team doesn't get the same respect that they got when you were actual champion.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
We've seen it year after year after year. There's just certain things seem to not go your way. After Dallas didn't win that year against Boston,
Yeah.
Luka still got free throws and all that, right? But sometimes the refs start seeing you a little differently. They don't allow you to get away with as much.
Yeah, they don't call it.
Yeah, so we got to see how that pans out.
The thing with Shea is that's the reason why I don't think he goes back to back MVP. I mean, I think they're going to call it differently, and then he's not going to get the same love that he's been getting. I think it's going to be a totally different Shea. He's going to probably still average around 30, but it's just not going to feel like a dominant Shea Gilchrist Alexander year to where you're going to be like, well, he's going to win the MVP. I don't see that.
His streak has been taken over by Kelsey Mitchell, the 20-point streak.
No, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But OKC will still be a tough team. But man, I don't know. Right now, there's a lot of questions in OKC as far as how Shea will get treated.
That is true. Darth is in here, John, saying, we're really sleeping on the Trailblazers. They're going to be a team to fear. And he's also mentioning that Trailblazers are going to mirror the Spurs with running the three guards, Lillard, Henderson, and John Morant. Add Advia. He says Potter, but I don't know if he's a Potter. They got a good team, and they're a quiet giant. I mean, I see where John's coming from as far as Portland goes. I do. They got a really good team, but I think the coaching is where it's going to really make a difference.
To this gentleman, I like the conversation, but did he say fear? Fear Portland?
Maybe in the last comment.
Yeah,
they are a team to fear.
I got a question. I don't know about the fear when you're talking about teams like the Spurs and OKC and Minnesota and all that. I think Portland's going to be a good team, but I wouldn't go as far as to say teams are going to fear the Portland Trail Blazers.
Better season, Portland or Utah?
This year, I'm actually going to go Utah.
I got Utah being a playoff team. That's actually giving them a lot of credit. Minimum play-in, but I actually have Utah being a playoff team. I think Portland play-in team, I wouldn't shock me if they get into the playoffs. But Portland, I think, definitely isn't a play-in team.
You already know going into the year, if you're going to rank Portland, even at talking about playoffs, you're going to rank them 7 through 10.
Yeah.
It's not like nobody's ranking the Blazers in the top 5.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying.
You got Spurs, Nuggets, Thunder, the top 3. And at 4, it can get kind of murky at 4, 5, 6. I mean, Minnesota they got LaMelo, but they lost a lot
the
of
Lakers?
front court. I'm not, golly. Derek.
Sometimes, what they say about elimination, sometimes you get better by eliminating certain things, right?
No, yeah, it's addition by subtraction.
Exactly. That's the phrase, sir.
Well, no, I'm glad they got rid of LeBron.
No. My point is, when you get rid of guys like LeBron, it changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
Because now you got some of those young guys who weren't getting the opportunities, like a Dalton Connect.
Yeah.
And then you give these guys the opportunity. They all start blending together. Austin Reeves is going to be happy, of course. Coming back, he doesn't have to worry about being that third option or whatever. He's got that new contract, like $47 million a year.
Yeah.
Luka looked like he was in shape. Have you seen pictures of Luka?
I have. I wish I was in Luka's shape.
So I think they're going to be okay. They still have some guys on their roster. Who's the center? That's my biggest question.
It's Kessler, Kevon Looney, and Mamushkidishvili.
Yeah, so that's a question. So look, I'm just showing you why I'm giving them a little credit. Name those 3 guys again.
Kessler, Looney, and Sandro Mamuskidis.
Okay, they used to play with the Spurs, right? Yeah.
They did.
So you take those three as opposed to DeAndre Ayton. Doesn't that make the Lakers a better team?
Absolutely.
All right. And you got Kevon Looney as well, a champion.
Yeah. I mean, and then you got backcourt help with Colin Sexton coming off.
Yeah, the Lakers are going to surprise. Man, look, what I say, before we came on the air, though, what do we talk about? When I said going under the radar?
Yeah.
When some teams go under the radar, they don't have that as much pressure on them.
Yeah.
Lakers are going to be better than some people think.
I mean, looking at the roster, I can definitely say they're not going to be non-playoff. I mean, maybe they're not going to be non-play-in, but you put them at 4, 5, 6. I mean, where would you put them in?
I don't even want to put them at 6 because, man.
Are they better than Utah?
They still have, I would say, the reason I would say that's a tough one.
I knew I got you. I knew I got you somewhere because Utah to me is so much more improved that I don't know if I could put LA above Utah.
The only thing that scares me about not putting them above Utah is they do still have a guy by the name of Luka Doncic.
They do.
And so we looking at him like, last year, like 33, 8-8?
Yeah.
I think if it came down to those two teams, now if you were asking me about the Timberwolves or the Rockets or something, I would have more of a question mark. Yeah. I'm going to say that I'm going to put the Lakers over Utah just because they have Luka Doncic.
I cannot argue with that. I think both teams will make the playoffs. I think I probably have LA at 6, maybe 5, and then I guess Utah 5 or 6. They can interchange right there. It's that fourth team that I can't get in the Western Conference. I don't know yet because I don't feel like Minnesota got better with LaMelo Ball. They lost a lot of front court help. Dallas obviously gets Kyrie back. They also traded for Reece Chartier, former number 1 pick. So he gets to kind of revitalize his career in Dallas, and they've got pieces there. The Houston Rockets, I mean, they didn't do anything in the offseason other than bring back Fred VanVleet off an injury. But there's really not a team in there where I'm like, they're just below the top 3, but they're better than 5 and 6.
I've heard you mention a lot of teams, but did you forget this guy by the name of Nikola Jokic?
Yeah, I've got him at 3.
You got Denver at 3?
3.
You got them over Minnesota?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Let me think, man.
I mean, because I can't take what happened to Denver last year and wipe it under the table. I mean, they were injured pretty much the whole year.
Okay, so tell me this. If going into the year, right?
Okay.
And I know they re-signed Watson, I believe.
Yeah.
But if you look at them and then you look at Minnesota, say Melo and word to mesh. I know they lost Nas Reed, but they still have Jaden McDaniel.
Yeah.
What if those two were to mesh and were to become one of the best backcourts in the league? You still have DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
So they've got a roster. It's not. I mean, this might be something great because you already know Minnesota's developed a style of play with Chris Finch, right?
Yeah.
What LaMelo means that Chris Finch is willing to somewhat come out of his comfort zone.
You have to.
They're going to push the pace more.
You have to.
And I think that's what Minnesota's been missing all these years. I think even when they had Cat, they didn't push the ball up the floor.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be something great. It's going to be something good for Ant. Ant doesn't have to use as much energy as he's had to use these last several years. I think it could end up being a blessing. I'm gonna give the Timberwolves some respect.
I'll put him at 4 then. I mean, I'll give him 4. I'm really high on all 3 of those teams in the Western Conference. I think we gave Denver the short end of the stick after last year. I mean, even as injured as they were, as tough as the season that they had, I think a full, healthy Denver team, I want to see how they look. And if they look terrible, then they look terrible.
Who's the starting guard with Murray, though, still? Christian Brown?
That's Christian Brown still. Yeah.
I'm still not sold on Christian Brown. Because at one point, if you look at like last year or even 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Some people might have put Christian Brown over Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say that today.
No.
So I still have questions about Denver's overall lineup. Then Jokic is getting up there as well. He's not exactly spring chicken anymore.
Did you hear about I can't pronounce, Panthakos overseas?
Panathinaikos in Greece.
Yeah, in Greece. That when he's a free agent after this year, I believe, They're going to offer him like
Yeah, I saw that.
not even a Brinks truck. They're going to offer him all the gold in the
90 million
country.
or something crazy. Now
To go overseas.
here's the thing, and we being serious, right?
Yeah.
You and I always talk about putting on your GM hat.
All the time.
So if you're Jokic and I come at you with an offer, Greece, who can afford it? You know, Dominique Wilkins went and played in Greece.
Yeah.
They've had some players, Walter Berry, the original truth from St. John's.
Mm-hmm.
So if they come at you and they throwing the Brinks truck at you, yeah, Jalen Ramsey, I'm out here repeating your stuff, your words. If they throw the Brinks truck and say, we're going to pay you, Nicola, we want you to come over to Greece and play for 3 years. We're going to give you $300 million, $100 million a year.
There's no way you say no. I mean, there's no way. And crazy enough that we're talking about a guy who's perennial MVP every single year, most dominant center in the league. I mean, realistically, category-wise, I mean, just to say, I don't need an NBA career no more. I'm going to go ahead and go overseas.
That's a lot of money. And if Tyrese Maxey makes an All NBA team, he has potential to have a 5-year deal for like $300. It was like almost $80 million a year, right?
Yeah.
So you got Victor playing. Who's going to be the first $100 million player? And it might end up being
Dylan Harper.
Well, it might end up not even happening in the NBA. Nikola
No.
Jokic. I mean.
Joker goes overseas. He's probably getting $100 million.
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating.
No.
Yeah, and they can afford it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that they can't afford it. And I can clearly see Joker going overseas. It's not even, I mean, we're smiling about it, but we're smiling because we know it can happen.
He's from overseas. I mean,
Why not go back home and collect more money than you can in the NBA?
really? I mean, everybody doesn't have, some guys will do that. Even Victor, we'll get to that another day, but no one could convince me with Tony Parker becoming the coach in Asvel in France.
Yeah.
That who's the owner? Tony Parker?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's something we can talk about later, but things do happen.
Tim Gonzalez, good friend of ours, Derek, says he can't wait to talk to you about college football. That's going to be coming up soon. We were talking college football a little while ago. So he's also saying if Texas doesn't make the college football this season, does Arch Manning draft status fall big time? Yeah,
Big time?
I don't know. I don't even have him very high right now.
Yeah, but that name Manning.
Name Manning's guaranteed top 10.
When we sitting around the board, you, myself, and Shemai, we sitting around here, right? And we got all these papers on our desk, and we going over the positives and the negatives of Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Now, being general managers, and we're making the move to pick, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to be in that room for 3 days because we're going to make sure we get it right. And that conversation is not just going to involve talking about Arch Manning.
Yeah.
It's going to end up talking about Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Archie Manning. So just that pressure alone, this is not a guy you want to get it wrong. We've been hearing about him too long now, right?
Yeah.
So we got guys like Fernando Mendoza, those guys end up coming out of nowhere. But you got a guy who's not coming out of nowhere. Every football player in the country knows who Arch Manning is, whether it's NFL or college.
Yeah.
So that's not, Arch is going to still be in the top 5 no matter what.
You got Dante Moore still coming out. He could have come out this past year, but he didn't. You got Julian Sayin from Ohio State. You got CJ Carr from Notre Dame. Trinidad Chambliss is another one that you could possibly see move all the way up. I mean, there's so many guys at QB this coming NFL draft that I don't even think if Texas wins the national championship, I don't think that moves Arch Manning up a whole lot.
It's not going to move him up a lot because he's already up there. So I'm telling you, Arch Manning will go into the NFL.
Yeah.
With an opportunity to start. You hear me?
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, today, you and I, we sitting here right now. Okay, Rudy, I'm going to pick an NFL player, and Arch is my guy. Your guy is Jackson Dart.
Okay.
Out of all the 32 teams, if you do a vote, what would the vote be about? How even would it be? Even, or would it be a landslide for Jackson Dart?
It would lean more towards Arch Manning.
Okay, there. Well, I'm gonna end on that note.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, it's going to lean towards Arch Manning there.
But you talking about NFL? You talking about already a guy that's establishing himself in the NFL already?
Pretty much.
So
yeah.
why would I take those other guys that you mentioned that are coming up over Arch Manning when I just heard you say that it would probably lean towards Arch over Jackson Dart?
Because to me, Jackson Dart wasn't going to be like a massive NFL great quarterback.
Doesn't he have Harbaugh now?
He has Harbaugh now. I mean, sure,
Who
Harbaugh can turn him into an MVP candidate.
Who would Harbaugh take if they call right now and say, Harbaugh, you got Jackson, but we got a chance to get Arch Manning?
He wants the pocket quarterback, so give him Arch Manning.
All right.
'Cause I don't think Jackson Dart's much of a pocket quarterback. I mean, I want you to take a look this year. You love to watch college football. We always talk about it. So watch Notre Dame and C.J. Carr this year. I think he has the potential to be that guy in the NFL draft. I think he's up there. Julian Saint from Ohio State, you saw what he can do. I have him kind of that middle guy right there. But I'm really liking C.J. Carr out of Notre Dame. That's a guy that I'm going to be watching. Of course, Arch is going to be up there. Manning's going to get you in the top 10 just by the last name alone. You're going to get drafted in the top 10.
So you're actually giving my Notre Dame Fighting Irish some credit going into this year.
I give him a little credit.
I've been trying to get you now. So what about Miami? We'll get into it when we start getting into college more. Notre Dame and Miami, those teams you got to give a little more respect.
Yeah, I'm going to look into more Miami here, but looking at Notre Dame, I'm giving a little respect. Come on, they made my name famous through a movie. I got to give them some credit, right? I mean, right. Got to give them a tad bit of credit. Jeff is in here.
Well, you got to let people know. A lot of people don't know about Rudy
Rudiger. That if we had Joe Montana sitting right next to us, he would tell a whole different story of that entire movie. So maybe we'll get Joe Montana to tell us that story. Jeff's in here. Is the road to the finals easier for the Spurs this season? Reason is because it's just really a two-team race, Spurs and Thunder, and then there's a drop to the next tier of teams. Assuming he's thinking the Western Conference only.
That's Jeff?
Jeff's asking. Is it an easier?
Good evening, Jeff. Well, first of all, I disagree with Jeff from the beginning to say that it's a two-team race.
Okay.
This might be a two-team race on paper.
Yeah.
These games aren't played on paper. It was a two-team race last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, in the Western Conference.
Yeah, they were fortunate last year. The Spurs were fortunate if you look at it.
Denver got help.
Okay.
Denver was injured.
Minnesota.
Minnesota, Dante DiVincenzo out.
I'm just saying. So things like that happen. So I'm not going to go into the year saying that those two are the two I would have at the top.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of hungry teams. And then, of course, every year you have what? You have a surprise team every year.
Utah.
Yeah, so it's going to be somebody. Yeah, I'm just saying, I can't just give the Spurs and OKC the top. There's other teams that's continuing to get better, and we don't know. At some point, you start tailing off, right?
Yeah.
So OKC, the dynasty, we know that talk is done. So we don't know what's going to happen after that. There's a lot of pressure now on Sam Presti. They didn't win this year. And the Spurs didn't win this year. So there's a lot of pressure. And other teams have been watching. They're getting better.
Would you call me crazy if I told you that I don't think OKC wins another title?
No, I wouldn't call you crazy. Because I'm looking at the league changing. With Victor, you got Cooper's getting older, more getting stronger.
The Eastern Conference is getting massively good.
You got Washington Wizards on their way up.
Yeah.
You got teams that are on their way up. So even in both conferences. So I can't just go into the year and say that this team is definitely going to be one of the top two teams. We don't even know what happens. Injuries, one injury can change a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
So that's why you play the games.
But, you and I make predictions before training camp. So once training camp opens, we're going to have to make our NBA predictions. So we got a little bit of time, man. We got a little bit of time. Tim is saying the Lake Show is back now that LeBron is not in purple and gold. He says the Lakers will win 55 games this season. Whew.
Wow, 55-27.
55. Now, I'm on record saying the Spurs are the only team I have potentially winning 60 games this year. I don't see another team winning 60 games. I could see 55 for the
52.
Lakers.
I'll go in. We'll talk later about that as we get into our predictions. But I could see the Lakers going into the year with Luka. And Austin. I would give them. I could see 52 and 30.
Yeah, I would maybe go 54, 53. I think is what I would put them at. I think it's like 60 for the Spurs and then maybe 58, 59 for the Thunder. Then I'll go 57, 58 for Denver, maybe 56, 57 for Minnesota. So, yeah, it's kind of about par where I think they are falling.
You know they went to France, don't you? You know they followed the Spurs. Did you know that, the recipe? The Spurs went overseas. You know Ant took his guys overseas. Him and LaMelo paid to fly all their guys overseas. So they're already bonding.
Yeah.
That's how you usually win, isn't it?
I guess if it takes winning to do it, I'm actually looking at our producer and the station. Remind me to send the email. Why can't they send us to France? I mean, if it works, if it works and you win, we can go to France, right? You and I.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't like flying international.
I'm ready.
I don't like going international. I said I'd never go international, but if they want to send us to France, we'll go to France.
But you know the teams. If you look at it today, a lot of these teams aren't close knit. We're talking about off the court, right?
Yeah.
And so you look at the teams that do things together before the season starts. Mm-hmm. Well, we saw it with Golden State. We saw it with the Miami Heat, with LeBron and those guys, the Heatles or whatever you want to call them. It's just certain teams that bond together early in the year, and they develop that relationship, and that chemistry translates over to the locker room and the basketball floor.
Yeah.
And I think that this might be the best Timberwolves team in the last 5 years. I could see that with LaMelo.
You're gonna have to sell me on that Timberwolves, man. I'm not completely sold on it. I need to really do my research on them this year because I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't see it. I think to me, LaMelo's more of a distraction and get away from the game plan than actually do good, if that makes any sense. That's just I think that's just the way I feel. I saw what he did in Charlotte, but they didn't make the playoffs based off of LaMelo's play. It was based off of, his contribution, but also the Canepo and other players. Going to Minnesota, you said potentially they could be the best backcourt in the NBA. They could be. But I just don't know if LaMelo has the maturity to make him the best backcourt in the NBA.
This past season, what kind of year do you think he had?
Above average. I don't know. I mean, I can't say he had MVP type of season.
He kind of sacrificed a little bit, though, for Brandon Miller and Canepo.
That he did. He did.
So I'm saying going to Minnesota, that tells me he's maturing as a player. I'm not talking about off the court. That's
that. I think that's my problem. It's off the court. There's not much to do.
Well,
I mean,
the guy
Minnesota,
likes to drive fast, man. I mean, the guy likes to get his cars and drive 100 miles per hour.
But he's gonna be driving in snow, Derek. You know the insurances he's gonna have to put on all his cars. He's gonna be driving in snow.
I saw his dad's house, so I know he can afford it.
See, we're in France now. They played a joke on us, and we're on France on the screen. So there we go. We're broadcasting live.
Well,
from
if you're going to show me, can you at least show me y'all standing outside the Eiffel Tower? My goodness.
Well, technically, we are outside the Eiffel Towers. LaMelo can mature.
So I can point back and Eiffel Tower, man.
LaMelo. I get what you're saying with LaMelo. He did sacrifice last year. He really did, and I'll give him credit on that. I just, I don't know how. For me, Anthony Edwards is the guy, and Anthony Edwards is talked about as being the next face of the league, and the potential that he has. And I just don't know if I have a feeling there's going to be that button of heads at least one or two times this year between him and LaMelo at some point.
Where is Julius Randle?
Brooklyn.
Okay, so they moved Julius Randle.
Yeah.
They moved Nas Reed.
Yeah.
They're coming in with a different mindset this year.
Okay.
If you're not going to have a different mindset, you don't get rid of Nas Reed, first of all, right? Yeah. But when they got rid of Julius Randle, that told me they did a lot of research. And they believe in LaMelo. Would you say this? At his best, is LaMelo Ball an all-star?
At his best?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still one of the best passers in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he meshes with Anthony Edwards, don't you hold Anthony in high regard?
Yeah, I do.
One of the best 10 players in the league?
Yeah.
So you combine him with the guard. It's no different. They gave James Harden and Donovan Mitchell an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
You can't tell me LaMelo's still developing his career. We haven't seen him in the playoffs doing things yet. But he has an opportunity to be better than James Harden's ever been come
Playoff time.
Yeah, so you got to at least let it pan out and see how we talked about 3 guards. You mentioned Portland.
Yeah.
You didn't mention DiVincenzo and LaMelo and Anthony Edwards. It is a guard game today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's the main reason I say that Minnesota's going to be better than people expect, because we're back to the guards winning again now. Jalen Brunson. We haven't talked about the guards since Steph Curry and Clay were leading the Golden State to titles. Jalen Brunson just made it popular again. Becky Hammond lit a fire talking about the small guards. They can't win. We just saw that be proven to be untrue. And so now you go into a new year, guard-oriented game. The big men are playing their roles, but it's guard-oriented. And I'm looking at my paper, you and I on pay. We got LaMelo, and we got Anthony Edwards, and we got DiVincenzo, who's going to be hungry coming back.
Yeah.
We're going to find a way to make this work.
Well, we got something here from one of the listeners. John says he's going to send you and I to Paris, but Paris, Texas. I've been to Paris, Texas.
Hey, if they got chicken, if they got good chicken fried steak or good tacos, well, I'm on my way.
Yeah, we're on our way to our first and only commercial break. We got a lot more NBA to talk about. Plus, we got to rethink the whole GOAT talk, man, because you know how good players were back in the day. I know how good players were back in the day. JJ Redick don't know. Draymond Green don't know. Gilbert Arenas don't know. We're going to have to revisit that conversation, as well as much as we don't like to do it, we got to talk about those Dallas Cowboys and their schedule for the upcoming season. We'll go win and loss for the Dallas Cowboys. This is the Sports Answer. It's Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr., word from Navarro Roofing and Salem Surround. We'll be right back.
Can I help you?
Yes, madam. I'm a roofing contractor, and I'm giving out 3 estimates to lucky homeowners today. Would you like one?
Nancy, don't do it!
Wait, who said that?
Up here, Nancy! I'm your roof! Be careful, that guy is not a roofer!
Yes, I am. And I have a brand new shining ladder to prove it.
Well, where's your ladder?
Right there in my truck. The one with the Michigan license plate.
Nancy, why don't you call Navarro Roofing? They're the ones who replaced me last time. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and they've been in business since 1968.
I remember my dad used them to replace our roof when I was just a kid. I'm going to call Navarro Roofing. Besides, they did my neighbor's house, and it looks amazing. And the cleanup was excellent.
Before you let anyone talk you into a good deal, call the Chamber of Commerce and see if they're actually local. Navarro Roofing is local and supports our local business.
That's the best call I ever made. Thanks, Roof.
Don't trust out-of-state storm chasers. Trust the name Texas has relied on for generations. Call Navarro Roofing today at 210-680-5070 or visit navarrosroofing.com.
Looking for the inside track on the silver and black? From deep dive analysis to breaking news on Wemby and the squad, get it all at Spurs in Focus. Join veteran beat writer Jeff Garcia for the ultimate one-stop spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Subscribe now at spursinfocus.substack.com.
Billboards, gas stations, gyms, grocery stores, and more.
Salem Media puts your brand in front of San Antonio wherever life takes them.
Call 210-526-3626. Call 210-526-3626 and get noticed.
You know your business inside and out, but does your community? With Salem Media's podcast and video production services, you can share your expertise and connect with customers on their commute or wherever they listen. We handle production and distribution, so your content reaches the right ears on multiple podcast platforms. Stop letting competitors own the conversation. Call Salem Media today and ask about our local business podcast packages. Call Chris at 210-526-3631. 210-526-3631.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Them Cowboys.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Answer. Shout out to Navarro Roofing and Salem Surrounds. You are part of the Salem Surround Studios here for the Sports Answer. Answer Now TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, hit that alert button so you know when we go live for the Friday Night Drive or the Thursday Night Delight. Shout out to our producer. We're going to be doing our college football picks here pretty soon. We'll give you our picks before the games even happen. Same thing with NFL games. We're going to give you our picks before those games even happen. You guys want to compete, see who has the better record between Derek, I, and yourself? Drop those picks in the comments when we make those picks here in a few weeks. But speaking of NFL, Derek, we got a lot of comments, and I'm going to get to some of the comments here before we go, so don't worry about it. The Dallas Cowboys, we always try to push them to the back and say we'll talk about them later. We're going to talk about them now. So their schedule is out, and I'm going to go through the schedule. I'm going to bring it up on a bigger scale here for you and I to take a look at here. But you talk about the defense. Caleb Downs is a rookie. They went out and drafted him, their first pick for them. He's going to be a stud. There's no doubt about it. They needed secondary help, so he's going to be a stud. No doubt in my mind, no doubt in a lot of people's mind, he's going to be a stud on there. Can they get the production from everywhere else? Offensively? Defensively, are they going to be better? I've heard mixed feelings. I don't know. Overall, do you think the Cowboys have a playoff run in them this year before we get into the schedule?
Yes. I think they're going to be in the playoff run. The best thing is you haven't been hearing a lot about, Jerry Jones in the media. Mm-hmm. And I told you, I've been telling you for years, when I think they're a better team when Jerry finally gets quiet. So we'll see if that lasts. But right now he's quiet. So, yeah, I say that alone makes them a better team, a playoff team. Yes.
There we go. So here we go. Schedule time for you, Derek. They have obviously playing 17 games. They've got a bye week in week 14. So they've got 13 straight weeks of football before they get a break. They open up in New York against those football giants. You mentioned Jackson Dart. Cam Scatterboo coming back doing backflips again after coming off of that entire MCL, ACL, whatever CL he decided to tear. He's doing backflips. He's coming back. The Giants have a defense. They also have a brand new coach, a coach that's accustomed to winning. Do the Cowboys dare go into New York and lose in week 1?
Wow. I'm going to give the Cowboys the benefit of the doubt first game because I know it's going to take a while. If you were to ask me that in the second half of the season, after Harbaugh has got more acclimated to his team, I would say maybe the Giants will have a better chance. But first game of the season, I'm going Cowboys.
Got the Cowboys winning at 1-0, and then you've got the Washington Commanders right after that in Jerry World. Washington, they loaded up a little bit in the offseason, but I still don't buy a whole lot of Commanders hype. I kind of have them equal with the Cowboys in a way, but what do you got, Washington or the Dallas?
Well, I like McDaniels, Jaden, whatever his first name. They're a good team, but I got the Cowboys starting off 2-0.
Do you hear that Jaden Daniels, what he's doing with LSU right now? He's refusing to allow them to use his player likeness and everything. Yet he doesn't even go to school there. But here's the kicker. The quarterback coming in was promise number 5. Well, Jaden Daniels doesn't want no quarterback wearing number 5 because that's his image or whatever. They don't want to sell his jersey. I'm really starting to find that this whole NIL, this whole other stuff is just, NIL to me is just BS is what it is.
You know how I feel about it. We just went through this with Caleb Williams and George Iceman Gervin.
Yeah.
My big brother. So this is another situation. And see that kind of when you got that kind of stuff going on in your mind,
you're not
that's another reason I got the Cowboys going 2-0.
Mama made him write a letter to the fans to say, I am fully focused on this season. My team will work out the details with LSU, but I am focused on. If you have to write a letter and put out a tweet and say that, you're not focused on the season, man. You're worried about what's going on in Tigerland down there.
And I'm not going to bash his mom, but I've read some people have called his mom crazy.
I don't know the woman. I can't call her crazy.
And I'm not going to call her that because she's representing her son, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to always want the best for your son, and the way you see things might not be how the public sees things. So of course she's going to want the best for her son. Is that any different than anyone else that has an athlete in sports?
No, not at all.
So I'm not going to call her crazy. I'm just going to say sometime as a players, there's a maturation process.
Yeah.
And so Jalen, hopefully he'll get more focused on the season. Once preseason starts, man, all that other stuff you know needs to go away.
Yes.
So I'm gonna take the Cowboys to be 2-0.
Then they play against Baltimore. Now it is in Jerry World, but they go against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Do we see loss number 1?
Wow, no John Harbaugh. Man. Ravens.
If not for copyright in YouTube, I'd say we would have the NFL theme in the background.
Where is that game in
it's in Dallas.
In Dallas.
In Dallas.
Lamar.
Well, give me a second because there's okay, so this says it's a game played at a neutral location.
See, yeah.
Okay, so neutral location.
So now I got the Cowboys 2-1.
2-1. Then the Cowboys visit the Houston Texans. And D'Amico Ryan, the up-and-coming Texans, man.
Yeah. And your guy.
My guy?
C.J. Stroud.
How is it my guy?
You talk pretty high about C.J. Stroud.
I said the Texans are going to be a better team this year.
Well,
the Texans are more than just C.J. Stroud.
You and I had a conversation a few weeks ago. We only got into it for a second.
Probably because I was wrong.
And it seemed that you were higher. You were higher going into this year. You were higher on C.J. Stroud than Caleb Williams.
Yes, I will say that.
So I am not as high on C.J. Stroud. I think this is going to be a pivotal year for him as well.
It's either do it this year or get out.
So
do or die.
I'm taking the Cowboys 3-1.
3-1. Then the Cowboys do play against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's on a down year. Baker Mayfield's still there. You can't really count out Tampa Bay with Baker's been playing. But you don't have Mike Evans, obviously no more. There's a lot more questions in Tampa. This is probably the one that I think is a guarantee win for the Cowboys.
4-1.
4-1. Then you've got.
Wait, 4-1, but I want Baker to tear it up because they didn't want to get this guy his money. I can't believe it. So 4-1, but I want Baker to pass for 400 yards.
33-28. The Cowboys win. Baker has like 450 yards.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah,
definitely that. And then you've got the return of Micah Parsons, and the Packers Actually, it's in Green Bay. I'm sorry. So the Cowboys go to Green Bay. Play against Micah and the Packers.
Jeez,
in the frozen tundra, which is in October. It's not frozen. But, man, going to Green Bay. Dallas hasn't really had a good feel going to Green Bay. Remember, Dez did not catch it.
4-2. I just think, the cheeseheads are going to be there. Micah's going to be motivated. Jordan Love definitely is going to be motivated because this is a big year for him as well. There's a lot of quarterbacks. But this is a big year.
Josh Allen.
Yes. Well,
Justin Herbert.
That's several.
Lamar Jackson.
Joe Burrow.
Lamar Jackson, because you have a new coach. If this coach doesn't get what he wants out of you, goodbye, Lamar. You may want to think about moving him. Every quarterback this year seems to be on the hot seat in some way.
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is another one. Another quarterback that's on the hot seat is the next game for Dallas at Philadelphia.
Jalen Hurts. Oh, boy.
And I've heard people, they're going to stomp the Eagles because they lost A.J. Brown. What? I mean.
So far, I've got the Cowboys at 4-2, and then the Eagles coming up.
And the Eagles.
Oh, man. I'm going to go 5-2. Cowboys 5-2.
Ooh, 5-2.
Yeah, because the Eagles don't usually get off to a great start. They struggle offensively. And then they have to get used to having no A.J. Brown there.
Yeah.
So I say they get off to a slow start. So, I say 5-2 Cowboys.
Cardinals and Colts right after that. So we'll do Cardinals first.
Well, I know they don't have Kyler Murray.
No, the daycare is closed. He's not there no more.
So that gives them a chance to win a game. But I'm going to go Cowboys 6-2.
6-2 Cowboys for Derek. They go to Indianapolis. Daniel Jones back in Indianapolis. Kind of a crazy game because this is one of those, like, Cowboys should win this game, but it may not happen.
7-2.
7-2. You are loving the Cowboys. Your Detroit Lions are getting really upset at you right now. San Francisco 49ers in Jerry World.
San Francisco, man, they still got that guy named Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
But at some point, the Cowboys are going to have a slip up. And if it's a slip up, those are the games they usually have a little slip up. I'm going to go 7-3.
Then you go Tennessee Titans, which, again, probably is a guarantee, you would think.
Well, if they had a quarterback that passed away years ago, you remember they had this strong African-American quarterback.
Steve McNair?
Yeah. If they had him, I would take him. They don't have him. Rest in peace, Steve McNair. So I'm taking the Cowboys.
Eddie George isn't there either.
Well, yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys.
So you're sitting at what, 8-3? Is that what it is?
Yes.
8-3 after 11. Now, this is where the water gets a little rough for you. The Eagles again. Now we're talking end of the season Eagles. So do the Eagles come victorious here?
I gave the Eagles the first game.
No, you gave the
I
Cowboys.
gave Cowboys the first game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get the Eagles to even it out.
Okay, so now we're doing what, 8-4?
8-4.
Then you got Seattle. At Seattle.
Ah, man, but Seattle's not the same team as last year.
They are not the same team because they did lose their offensive coordinator and they lost their running back. But what you said earlier, addition by subtraction, they lost Kenneth Walker. They got Jaden Price, who I think is the best running back in the draft. So, again, Seattle, this is a team you were so high on last year for.
Oh, I still am. I'm just not going to be high on that game. Cowboys 9-4.
Oh, my God. Then you got the Rams. They're going to L.A. You cannot say the Cowboys. Jerry will be mad if you said the Cowboys.
Wow, that's week 14. Now wait, 9-4.
Week 15.
This is after they break.
After the bye.
Okay, after the bye. After the bye. See, I had to contemplate now after the bye how the team's going to come back. I'm going to go. I know this is going to kind of look at your face already.
Doesn't upset me. I've got my own record.
I am going with the Dallas Cowboys.
You got them at 10-4.
Yes, I do.
So then they get Jacksonville right after that, who comes off of a fantastic 13-win season.
Yeah.
And again, Jacksonville, I think, they lost Travis Etienne. I always say ETN, but it's Etienne apparently. But again, they still got a good team there. Jacksonville's not going to be a slouch either.
They're going to have a really good team this year, I believe.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to say, so we 10-5.
10-5, they lose there. Now, the last two games are, of course, divisional games, end of the year. They play against the New York Giants, and then they've got the Commanders to close the year. Do they get to that 12 wins?
I told you 11-6 or 12-5, right?
You did.
I'm going to give them 11-6. I say they lose one of those two last games, and it'd probably be the last one of the season against the Commanders.
Probably because they wrap up the division, and they really don't play a lot of the kids at the end. So I can see that.
That's funny. I said 11-6 and 12-5. I didn't know you was going to take me through this here today.
We have surprises all around.
So 11-6.
You got 11-6. I have 9-8.
Woo, boy, 9-8.
At most 10 wins. At most 10 wins. But I have them at 9-8. Is what I had them at.
Man, if they only go 9-8, that means they're gonna have to get Canelo to come out and fight next year. Errol Spence gonna have to come out of retirement.
They got to take
that's panic mode. I think they'll definitely be better than a 9-8 team.
I got them at worst 9-8, best 10-7. That's just
at
best 10-7.
Wow.
I think there's a few wins in there that you gave them that I can truly see that they're probably not going to win. It might be a lot closer game than we may even think about it too.
So you're 9-8. I'm gonna say at best they go. At best, I'm gonna say the 12-5 because I do. Once again, it goes back to Jerry being quiet right now.
Yeah,
I think that's always a benefit, and I think they flying under the radar, man. You haven't been hearing the Cowboy talk like usual.
No.
So I think that's another positive thing for them. And I think they're going to have a really good year. Yeah, 11-6, 12-5.
11-6, 12-5. Okay. And I've got them 9-8, and then I've also got them at best 10-7. A couple more comments here. Jeff is saying, is the NBA champion coming out of the East since the East got stronger than the West this year?
That's too early to tell, Jeff, but I believe that the champion is going to come back out of the West this coming year. I know a lot of people are on the Philadelphia bandwagon.
I don't.
I'm not. I don't even have Philly in the top 3 teams in the East right now. So I'm going to say the champion comes out of the West.
Yeah, I still think so. I think if a team comes together in the Eastern Conference, a la Boston, if Paul George stays healthy, a la the New York Knicks apparently could do it too. I mean, even Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland can make a nice little run. I don't have Philadelphia above those teams, and a few other teams I don't have them above. John, he's a big Bronny James fan. He wants to know if we're going to see Bronny James' greatness this year at all, now that LeBron's gone. You think Reddit gives him a little bit of playing time?
Now, that's a tough one for me because are you talking about him playing in the G League or the NBA?
NBA. They want NBA.
No.
They want NBA. Of course,
I'll just be happy if Bronny's still on the roster, to be honest with you. I know they gave him the 1-year guarantee.
He's back with them this year.
Yeah, let him go ahead and get his $2.5 million, finish the season. But this is not going to be a year where they're going to be playing Bronny. They're going to be trying to win. Last year, they played him because his dad was there.
Yeah.
They're not doing that this year.
Well, John's trolling. He loves Bronny.
Does John know they just got a new ownership, yesterday?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I fully expect Bronny to be cut after the new owners.
Yeah, I'm just saying. They got new ownership yesterday. What, $12 billion they sold the team for?
Yeah, if I would have known that, I would have invested a long time ago. Did you know when I was in high school, and this is like many decades ago, Derek, I would open up the paper and you could see all the stock market and you could buy the Boston Celtics. They had, you could trade with the Boston Celtics. I probably should have put money in it back then.
Yeah, probably. That would have probably got you more reward than that Luka card would have.
Why do you bring up the Luka card, man? Everybody brings up the Luka card. That Luka card is 6 figures now, and I can't believe I sold it for way less than that. Does John Morant push Portland over the hump in the West? Does he make a huge difference for Portland?
Oh, is that directed at me?
I'm directing that completely towards you.
I'll just be happy for Ja to go through a whole season with no drama.
Okay.
So that's right now. That's what I'm focused on. I don't believe he makes them that much of a better team.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned Dame coming off the injury.
Yeah.
Scoot
is way fluctuates
so
too much.
Yeah, and they still have Jeremy Grant and those guys. But if you look at their team, their roster is okay. Their roster is a team that's fighting for a play-in spot, and that's what I see.
Then you got Tim asking, where do you rank Vince Carter among the best dunkers of all time?
In game dunks, I mean, for me, he's got to be number one for in game dunks. Who else could I put over? We're talking in-game dunks. I mean, Vince Carter.
Yeah.
What else is he known for? Mainly dunks. A lot of people say Vince was a great player, right?
Yeah.
But I'm one of those people, and this is not to, don't get upset with me, but I'm going to be honest about Vince Carter. For me, he was more known for dunks. Vince Carter played 22 years. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Vince Carter made All-NBA third team 3 times out of 22 years. So that tells me, would you call that a superstar?
No.
Okay. But now we start talking about dunking the ball.
He's great.
Vince Carter, So for me, I would have to put him number one for dunks, yes.
And then John saying that the Cowboys will be in the Super Bowl, according to him, because every other team may have some adversity and injury, so that's why they are in the Super Bowl, according to what John has said. Before we go, man, we got normally we talk about Spurs players from back in the day, and we love bringing them up because fans love to talk about them. And, I'm going to bring this up because I'm going to share my screen, and we can definitely get it here. I had to bring this up. It's on my X, so if you want to go check it out on the X, you can do that as well. And you can go by @thesportsanswer. So there's a lot of talk. We mentioned earlier JJ Redick, Gilbert Arenas, Draymond Green, Joel Embiid, all these guys talking about, how players in the 60s and 70s were, playing with plumbers, and they're plumbers and firemen, and they had no talent. My talent today would be, light years compared to what they had back then. I recommend everybody to go watch this. And again, go to X and just go to @thesportsanswer. You can find it there. Click on that YouTube. Check it out. It's going to definitely open your eyes. Now, Derek studied the game. I've studied the game. Players that you're going to see on there, I've mentioned to Derek so many times before. We've talked about him. This is nothing new to us, but it did make you and I rethink where we position a lot of these guys on all-time lists. And that's something that I want everyone to understand. Guys like Will Chamberlain didn't get a whole lot of love when it comes to, top 10 list. And if you look and go back in highlights, and I'm going to tell you now, screw the whole, well, there's no proof of his 100-point game. And LeBron even made the thing, well, he could have been holding up 100 for somebody's birthday, a 100-year-old birthday. I don't care what everybody says. You want to mock the guy, that's on your own thing. But to take that away, he's still the most dominant player this game has ever seen, period.
Well, I'm going to show you quickly how silly some people are, right?
Yeah.
So you hear people doubt the 100. Have you ever heard anybody say they doubt that he averaged 50 and 25 rebounds?
No.
So if he's capable of scoring 50 and getting 25 rebounds, why would you doubt the 100 points? I'm just saying how people think. The man was dominating. I called you either last night or night before last and told you to watch this video.
Yeah.
I'm 63 years old. I've had Kareem and Michael Jordan number 1 or 2 in either order for years and years. And then I started saying, I'm not going to be like the new era where you just focus on basketball since basically the 1980s.
Yeah.
So I went back and I watched these films just so I can bring the memory back into my mind from when I was young, right? And we get away from talking about the Jerry West guys,
Yeah.
the Oscar Robertsons. I'm asking all of you that listen to this show to go on and pull up this show, the GOAT, Plumbers and Firemen. And once you pull it up and look at these videos, I want you to think about the game today. The only difference in the game today is the three-point line, and the guys are allowed to get away with more as far as the step backs,
Travel, carry.
the carrying. I'm just
everything.
saying. So I want you to go back and look at these guys playing within the rules. And I want you to look at these guys like Elgin Baylor, so you'll really understand why Michael Jordan followed guys like Elgin and Dr. J, why Dr. J followed people like Elgin Baylor and Connie Hawkins.
Yeah.
It'll amaze you. Go back and look with an open mind and actually look at these guys' skill set, the Bob Cousy's. If I ever see J.J. Redick, the last time I saw J.J. Redick, this is true, we were standing next to each other the year he came out of college in New York. And I told you that's when we went to look at the gyms for the Gervin before we built our gyms.
Yeah.
JJ's coming out of college that year at Duke, standing right next to him. If I was standing right next to him again this many years later, I wouldn't slap him. I'm not going to do the Charles Barkley. But I would definitely slap him with words. And I would say, how dare you disrespect a great like Bob Cousy, a John Havlicek, an Oscar Robertson, a Wilt Chamberlain, and call them plumbers? J.J. Redick, a guy who could barely dribble the basketball?
Yeah.
I could pick fifth graders that could dribble the ball better than J.J. Redick.
Yeah.
So you got to give these guys a little more credit. But go look at this video and then do your analysis on your top 10, because I have to reevaluate mine.
You're talking Elgin Baylor, who, I mentioned before, probably the best two-way player this game has ever seen. We're talking best two-way defender, scorer. I mean, the guy could do it. The innovator of the Eurostep. He brought the Eurostep, before Manu did, before Sharunas Marshalonis came over. Elgin Baylor was doing it. I think more they call it a sidestep at that time, but it's still a Euro. I mean, he was still bringing the Euro. You're talking Bob Cousy, who some of the shots that he made were stuff you don't even see today from these guys. Apparently, these guys are more athletic. They're more, they're better than this and that. Yeah, we don't see half of the stuff that these guys were doing back in the 60s and 70s. without a 3-point line. Keep that in mind. There was no 3-point line. And these guys are putting up gaudy numbers. Games are what, 120 to 115.
When Philly finally got over the hump, the Philadelphia Warriors, Wilt Chamberlain, they finally ended Boston's 8-year winning streak, I believe it was.
Yeah.
The score in Game 7, 140 to 116.
No
140. Now remember, these are guys that's walking the ball up the floor, according to J.J. Redick.
Yeah.
Plumbers, 140 points in Game 7 without a 3-pointer.
And you don't even get 140 points in today's game with a 3-pointer, with a 3-point shot. I mean, they were doing it without it. So we love to always talk about, the history of the game, and you got to respect the history of the game. Now, look, games evolve, man. I mean, I'm a bowler. I've been a bowler since I was 3 years old. I've gone from, the plastic days and, the urethane bowling balls to reactive. I've been through the transitions. You'll never convince me that, today, guys these days can hook a ball like crazy. But back then it was more, you had to be precise. You had a plastic ball. You had a urethane ball. You had to make do with what you had at the time. Same thing for basketball. Same thing for football. Players evolve. Rules change. Sometimes in basketball, they change for the worse and make it easier for people because they want to see more scoring, yet we're still not seeing the scoring that they had in the 60s and 70s at times with pure basketball.
I have to ask, were you surprised? And not just the skills, what about the intensity level?
I was surprised at the intensity, but where I studied the players, Derek, and I knew about them, I knew how good they were, I was more shocked at the scores. Hearing them put up 130, 140, 120 without that 3-point arc, putting up those numbers, it made me fall in love with the game a lot more back then, because these guys today with all their 50, 60 dribbles before the shot clock ends, chunking up, fadeaway 3-pointers, and they're not even getting to 140 consistently, 130 consistently. Can you imagine if Kuzi, Oscar, these guys had a 3-point line? I mean, Bob was shooting it beyond the arc. If you drew the arc back then on some of these courts, he was shooting well beyond the arc.
Be honest from the video you watched, and it's not to offend anyone.
No, I'm honest with you.
What era was the purest basketball? Was it the 1960s or was it today?
60s.
The ball moved up the floor. You just said without the 30 dribbles. James Harden changed to another level, 50 dribbles, I called it.
Yeah.
So when he had the ball in Houston, so he's dribbling quick, like 50-some dribbles in 23 seconds before he throw it to you, and 24-second violation at the last minute, at the last second, right?
Yeah.
But when you watch the game, the big men ran the floor, right? The power forwards run to the blocks. Everybody ran, and then where you got your wings running to the corners. But they got on the floor. Without all the dribbles, they moved the ball up the floor.
Yeah.
And to me, that was that's what basketball was about. But they played within the rules, and these guys did what they did the way the game was meant to be played. And I have to give them respect for that. And Jerry West, quickly. Everybody keeps talking about this Sean Livingston nonsense about the best mid-range shooters.
Yeah.
If you don't have Jerry West in your best mid-range shooters, all that tells me is that you never watched Jerry West play.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that at all, man, because Jerry West, I was more shocked because as many times as I've seen highlights in Jerry West games that you've seen on NBA TV that they have shown in the past, I never picked up that the fact that he would always take a jump shot after a hard dribble.
In your face, though.
And you knew it was coming, and you couldn't stop it. That is the most craziest thing I had seen right there is that. And I knew Jerry dribble. He shot off the dribble, but I never knew that he took a hard dribble before he went up with that shot.
He was so great that even today in 2026, he's still the logo.
Yeah, he's still the logo. That is a guarantee right there. That's a guarantee right there. That's all we're saying, guys. We want y'all to do the research, kind of like what we do. We like to talk a lot about, players from back in the day, and We got even guys coming in here. Sean Kemp, he says Sean Kemp's one of the better dunkers in the NBA.
Yeah, he is, no doubt about it. No, you said the best.
No, Tim is saying the best. John is saying Sean Kemp. We forgot Sean Kemp.
I didn't forget Sean Kemp. You said the best.
No,
I only pick one guy.
Yeah. You got him. Dominique Wilkins better over Vince? I guess Jeff is asking.
I love Dominique. That's my era, but I never saw Dominique jump over a 7'5" guy.
Yeah. Well, yes. Fred Weiss.
Frederick Weiss never played in the NBA after that. You know that, right?
Derek, he never played basketball after that. Forget the NBA, man. And we got a comment here. This is a good, heartfelt comment, man. John is in here. Says, this is why I love listening to the Sports Answer. You don't talk about your favorite players or the popular players. You speak facts about the game and respect history. And that's all we've done since we've been doing shows. That's all we do, man.
Thank you for that. But look, even my brother is a top 50 player, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't hear when we talk about the top 20 or 15, you don't hear me put my brother in it.
No.
My brother didn't win the championships. They couldn't get by the Lakers.
Yeah.
So, and then George was more, offensive oriented. So if I'm not going to be biased about my brother, there's not too many people I'm going to be biased about. I'm going to go by what I see. And it's not to ever offend because we're all different and we all have different opinions.
Yeah.
And it's all in fun.
And that's what John's comment's true. And I love what he said because that's the way we've always been. Since you have done shows together, we've been 100%. We've never held back. We've never, sidestepped comments or whatever. We've talked about it, and we've made it known. If we don't like this player, we say we don't like this player. We call out Hall of Famers that aren't Hall of Famers. I mean, we call it like we see it, and that's why this is the Sports Answer is probably one of not the best shows around. So, yeah, John, I appreciate that comment 100%. Yeah. But nonetheless, man, we got to make a long sports drive here. So everybody that's been paying attention to us tonight, we appreciate it. You've been joining us. We love you for it. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the alert button, the notification button, so that way you can get notified when you get the Friday Night Drive or the Thursday Night Delight. Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr., Navarro Roofing, also Salem Surround. Football's starting tomorrow, basically. The games were last night. You got more preseason coming up. We'll talk more football next week. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of college football because that's coming up right around the corner. NBA may take a little bit of a backseat, Derek. We got to go with that. We got to go the football route because this is going to be crazy.
We're versatile, my man. So, hey.
12-5, man. Yeah. 12-5, Derek. I mean, I hope that the check Jerry sends you clears.
I said or 11-6 now.
But still 11-6.
Now, okay, now you got to tell me this then before we get off the air.
Yeah.
There was a guy I used to call Mr. 8-8.
Jeff Fisher.
No, Jason Garrett.
Well, Jason Garrett too.
8-8 every year. What do you mean? Yeah, 2. No, he's got to be number 1. Is there?
I don't know. Jeff Fisher.
Look up his record. How many years in a row? I think they went like 4 years in a row. The Cowboys went 8-8.
I'll look it up.
Now they get rid of Mike. Where's Mike McCarthy? Gone.
Yeah.
Right. So Micah gone. Sometimes it just you need a change as a team, and you bring in some guys that aren't as known, and they're hungry. So they already automatically have a fire lit under them. And you give them a chance to come out and perform. And I think that's what they're going to do this year. I think the Cowboys are going to be better than a lot of people think.
Especially me. They'll probably be better than what I think. I've given them 9-8, 10-7 at best. But that's just me at
Dak Prescott, once again, no respect for Dak.
I respect Dak completely.
They're running gassers on their own. Did you know that?
Yeah.
After practice, how many teams you know that? After practice, all the guys were like, Coach, we want to run like 20 more gassers. Is that a team that's setting up to win or lose?
That's setting up to win.
That's you going over and beyond. That's what it takes to become a champion. At some point, we got to have to put this to bed because the Cowboys are going to win eventually. In my lifetime, they're going to win the Super Bowl. I won't say that, man. Well, if things go well, I'm going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Well, I've already said it on the show many times. I will never see an Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl win in my lifetime. I'm praying that my daughter is able to see one, and when she does, I hope she comes to my gravesite and puts that Atlanta Falcon banner down and says, Dad, they finally won.
Hey, do we have like 30 seconds?
Yeah, what do you got?
What about Kyler Murray going in and winning that position? What's up with J.J. McCarthy? How many more opportunities does he get?
J.J. McCarthy was a bad quarterback coming into the league.
From Michigan?
From Michigan. A bad quarterback coming into the league. I had zero hopes for J.J. McCarthy, but I will give him credit. If there is a coach that can do it for him, it's the staff of Minnesota. I think he needs another year with the clipboard. Might be.
There's another quarterback out of Michigan that started off struggling by the name of Tom Brady.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's going to be Tom Brady.
I was going to say no.
But I'm saying that they giving up. I mean, that's really bad when they giving up. Man, that's like they giving up on you. They bring in Kyler Murray and then name him starter?
I don't think Kyler Murray is healthy enough to be the starter the whole year.
Man,
eventually.
I'm taking Doug Flutie over Kyler Murray.
There's a lot of quarterbacks I would take over Kyler Murray. Like a lot of quarterbacks. I would take Sean Salisbury. I'd take Sean Salisbury over. Shout out to Sean. I talked to Sean a long time ago.
San Diego Chargers. All right.
Well, we got more NFL talk, college football talk coming up next week. Appreciate everybody joining us here again. Shout out to Navarro Roofing and Salem Surround. When y'all have the sports questions, we've got the sports answers. We'll see you guys next week.